Hi, my name is Tommy Tallarico. I've been a video game composer for over 20 years, and I'm the creator of Video Games Live. And welcome to the commentary here. Ooh, there I am. Hello. Hi. That's a crazy shirt, isn't it? Anyway, let me see. Started Video Games Live back in 2002. And the whole idea was I wanted to prove to the world how culturally significant and artistic video games have become. And, this special came about by, us contacting PBS and saying, hey, how about us? And they were like, yeah, sure. So they were really impressed with the show. There's Pong. Now, the 07, 06 that you see up there, that's to represent July 6th. That was the very first Video Games Live show we ever did at the Hollywood Bowl back in 2005. So at the start of every show, we always play the classic arcade medley. And this version here, actually, that's on this, is a very compressed version. The version is usually 7 minutes long, and we've changed it over the years. Like we used to have things like elevator action and Rastan in there, and then we'll change those out, and we added like Contra and things like that. And there is Defender, of course, the creator of Defender. He did Defender, Joust, and Robotron. That's Eugene Jarvis, a good buddy of mine. Crazy guy. But man, imagine the creator of those 3 games in a row. There's Centipede out there. The people might wonder why we chose this particular song to play over the games that didn't really have any music in it. And it was because this was the music to one of my favorite arcade games, Satan's Hollow. And so Satan's Hollow is actually the last section. You'll see it here coming up right at the top left of the screen. You don't really see it too much on. There it is. See, there's Satan's Hollow there. And so I ended up putting the other games in there that didn't have any sound. It's kind of a dramatic thing. There's Dragon's Lair. Actually, on this disc, in the bonus material, we have a whole making of Dragon's Lair, which has the original designers. Of course, the animation was done by Don Bluth and Gary Goldman. 2 guys. Don Bluth actually is a good buddy of mine, but he actually worked on Sleeping Beauty with Walt Disney. Unbelievable. But Dragon's Lair was the first 50-cent video game. Lost a lot of quarters in that one, for sure. And here's Tetris. This is actually the very end of our classic arcade segment. So like I said, it's usually 7 minutes long, but for the disc and for the PBS special, we had to pare everything way down. So this is one that probably got hacked the most, was Classic Arcade Melody. That's my favorite thing, all those lights, all the color rolls in those lights. So what I do is when I arrange the music, and then I actually create all of the videos for the show as well, most of them. And then so I do the music and then the videos, and then we sit down with the lighting designer, and I match all the visuals to the music and the video on screen. And I've had the same lighting guy, Heath Marnin is his name.
Game composer and co-creator of Video Games Live.
Here's where they introduce me. And I come out running. I'm very happy. Yay! Hello. And I like to describe Video Games Live as having all of the power and emotion of a symphony orchestra combined with the energy and excitement of a rock concert, mixed together with all the cutting-edge visuals, technology and interactivity and fun that video games provide. I say that about 4,000 times a day. Okay, so here's Halo. And this is the full Halo segment that we play in the show. In the PBS version of the show, we only did Halo 3. But this is the whole version. So this is actually Halo 2. The music to Halo 2. This is composed by a good friend, Marty O'Donnell. and Mike Salvatore, another Paisan, an Italian composer. So we start with Halo 2 here, and Bungie helped with doing this video as well. So I worked with the folks over at Bungie, super talented team, and we added some guitar on top of this. And for the special, there it is right there. That's the steampunk guitar right there. That only one of those exists in the world. As a custom guitar, they actually used a Dimebag Darrell Flying V as the basis, and chopped off one of the arms and added all the steampunk style, which is very, very cool. So this was the Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra, the LPO. We actually recorded this down in New Orleans. Oh, this is a cool part here. Yeah, we had these monks come on stage with the little fake little candles, and kind of add a little bit of drama to the whole thing. They weren't actually really singing, but but look at that. I mean, how cool is that? Do they have faces? I don't even know. It kind of looked like the Grim Reaper there for a while. And then here is, of course, the motif to the original Halo, which is probably the most well-known video game tune written in the 21st century, I would say. And Marty O'Donnell and Mike Salvatore always tell the story where everyone thinks, that was maybe Tibetan monks or whatever, but actually it was Marty and Mike and a couple other jingle writers from Chicago. It was like 5 guys. Now this guitar part here, this was originally done by Steve Vai, who is a very, very good friend of mine. Steve is, he's Steve Vai. For freaking sakes. What can you say about Steve Vai? But yeah, he did this. He worked with Marty. I think they called it the Majora Mix or something like that. Yeah. And here's the first time where you see all the lasers in the show. It originally intended Video Games Live to have like lasers in every one of its performances, but quickly realized as we look at the stupid faces I make when I play guitar. Do I really look that ridiculous when I play guitar? That's embarrassing. Yeah, we actually wanted to have lasers like in every performance we ever did. Then we realized the cost of having lasers at every show. So sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. I'd say about 95% of our shows don't have lasers, but we have so much cool and dynamic lighting that a lot of people actually think that, we'll come up after the show, or they'll email me after the show and say, man, we really love the lasers. And there was actually no lasers in the performance. But so yeah, the whole guitar part throughout this whole thing was definitely Steve Vai inspired. And the drummer there, see the guy right there in the bottom right? His name's Joe Travers, who's been a good friend for a long time, and he's actually the drummer for Dweezil Zappa, who's another good friend of mine. I'm going to sound like such a tool. He's a good friend, but I'm not name dropping. But Joe's a fantastic, such a talented drummer, and he plays with us as much as we possibly can. It's great. Look at that stupid face. I don't believe that. This is very embarrassing. So here's the big end, Halo 1, and jump up and down. There we go. And so that's the way we played Halo 2 and then Halo 1 after that is the way we originally did the segment. And then we started playing the trailer to Halo 3, and we would tag that on the end. And then when Halo 3 came out, we added this whole segment. And so this is the longest extended segment that we do, which starts with Halo 2, goes into Halo 1, then this part, which is a couple tunes from Halo 3, and then we end with the announcement trailer of Halo 3. So that's where you get the, I think it's 9 minutes, something like that. Maybe 7, 8 minutes, I don't know, something like that. I seem to remember 9 for some reason. Some awesome, look at the graphics there. Pretty incredible. So yeah, so the Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra is who played with us here. And we recorded it down in New Orleans on April 1st. Doing a little volume stuff there with the kind of make the guitar sound a little bit like a violin or something. So you don't actually hear the note picking, but you kind of fade in with the volume. It's kind of a cool effect that I completely ripped off from Eddie Van Halen, who is not a good friend of mine, unfortunately. I wish Eddie was, but this is kind of fun section here. So yeah, Halo's probably one of the most requested tunes in the show in America, and a lot of Xbox players over here. When we play around the world, sometimes we'll ask the local fans, gamers, or some of the video game magazine people. I'll ask them what they what's their favorite games. I'll give them a list of all 60 segments that we do and say, hey, what are the most popular games down here? And a lot of times, it's really different. Look at that. That's really cool. The lights and the lasers. What a great shot. Now what am I doing? Oh my gosh. I love that visual. Look at that. Master Chief going for it. Yeah, jump. And then, come on, clap. There you go. Big smiling there. Your future. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum. We played a show at the Hollywood Bowl, our second Hollywood Bowl show. When we debuted this trailer, I actually had Steve Vai on stage with me, and we did this thing together. Me and Steve Vai, and Marty O'Donnell, the composer, was actually on piano playing the whole part here. It's a great guitar thing here with Steve Vai. And I remember before going on stage, Steve Vai, because we didn't really rehearse at all, Steve came down with his guitar and his amp, and there's Joe. And before we go on stage, Steve's like, I figure we just, trade licks back and forth. And I'm like, screw you, Steve Vai. I'm not trading licks with you. I might look like Ralph Macchio, but this ain't Crossroads, the movie Crossroads. Of course, Steve Vai played the devil's guitarist, and Tommy Tallarico has the role of Ralph Macchio in Crossroads. No, I said, dude, I'm playing power chords. You solo all you want. Here comes Master Chief. There he is. Oh my God, that's actually Brian DiDomenico, who's our production assistant or production manager, stage manager. Look at that. Actually, a fan made that red flag for us, and he gave it to us at one of the shows. And there's the big puffs of smoke. Those things are so freaking loud on stage. We always have to warn the orchestra, and we do a test before the show because they're so freaking loud. And here's Christopher Tin. Chris Tin, an amazing composer. He's talking about Civ 4 here when we originally did it. That was our second show at the Hollywood Bowl he's talking about.
The audience already started cheering, and they had already heard this music, even though this is the first time it was being
Sid
played
Meier,
live.
he's been to our show a couple of times. He's in the Washington, D.C. area, so whenever we play in D.C., Sid's come on stage and answered some questions with us and stuff. And Civilization 5, there's a Civilization 5 trailer on this disc as well, and depending on when you're listening to this, but Civ 5 has not come out yet, so it's kind of a cool thing to have on the disc. very much a Lion King type of vibe. But this is the song. This is my mom's favorite song, actually. This tune right here, and it's one of those tunes. The very first time I heard it, I fell in love with it. And, I think it has a lot of that same effect on people. This is actually two songs. This isn't the main song that everybody knows and loves is Baba Yetu, which kind of actually officially starts coming up when the soloists come in. But this, I forget the name of this song, but I took two songs from Civ written by Chris and kind of mashed them together for this because I love that whole intro thing is awesome. Now these two soloists, this was this duet version of Civ 4 right here. That's Ron Reagan. Now Ron Reagan was the original singer on Baba Yetu, and Baba Yetu, of course. And you can hear Chris Tin talk about it on the bonus material interview. But Baba Yetu is the Lord's Prayer, Our Father, who art in heaven, in Swahili. Now, this guy we met in Buffalo, and he was Kendrew. He sang for us in Buffalo, and he was so incredible. And so when we were doing the special, I said, geez, I got to have Ron there because he's the original guy, but Kendrew brings a lot of depth and stuff to it as well. So I said to Jack, I said, why don't we get both guys there, and and we can have them, kind of play off each other. And we wrote a whole new section, all this whole kind of duet and harmonizing and all that stuff was written just for this show, and because I'd always felt like there should be more vocals to it. Jack was the same way, so this is my favorite part right here. That section, that's probably my most favorite part in the entire show, was right there. Man, if that doesn't give you goosebumps, I don't know what does. It was really, really incredible. Those guys knocked it out of the park first time. It's great. This is one of those tunes where you listen to you play this tune for somebody who doesn't play video games, and they're like, "What? This is video game music? Are you kidding me?" This is. I wanted to make sure this tune was towards the beginning of the show. It's to really blow people away. In fact, when PBS wanted to release one track on YouTube. This was the track I chose because the PBS audience, obviously there's not a lot of gamers. PBS goes to, I think, like 90 million households in the United States, and a lot of the PBS people aren't gamers. So I really wanted to have them hear something and really be affected by it, and that Baba Yetu or the Civ 4 music definitely does that. You guys rock. So here's a cool piece. This is from StarCraft 2. Now we've been playing StarCraft 2 music for 2 years before the game came out. Maybe 2.5 years. This is written by Russell Brower, great friend of ours, and. You can see Russell on the bonus DVD extras as well, or DVD extras or Blu-ray extras here on the disc. Got some lasers going on here, and look at that shot with the smoke. I think something was on fire there. That wasn't meant to be. No, that's we had this low level. The fog was supposed to be, because what's unique about the whole Video Games Live, this recording, is that all of the symphony were on islands. If you look, it wasn't a flat stage, but we wanted to create these little islands that different sections of the symphony would go on, and then the smoke, the fog was supposed to roll. See all that? You can see the platforms there, and the fog was supposed to roll all in between those, and you can kind of see it. And we had all these LED lights and spent all this extra money on like lighting the fog and everything. But by the time it got to the, see how it was rising up because it was so hot in there, so it kind of screwed that effect. But it made an entirely other cool effect as well, which is this kind of rising fog from the floor. Look at that shot right there. The lights going crazy. I love that wide shot. Lots of lights there. But Russell did a fantastic, amazing job. And we were asked to open when they did the world premiere of StarCraft II music over in they did it in Korea. Blizzard asked Video Games Live to come and perform the music for the first time ever live at that event. So it's really an honor for us and special moment. I'm really I'm going to say this 1,000 times, so please get used to it. But Mike Morheim is a very good friend of mine. Mike, everybody's a good friend of mine, right? No, but Mike Morheim's the CEO of Blizzard, and great guy, and we've always had a really close relationship with Blizzard. So here it is, Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, believe it or not, when Video Games Live first debuted on July 6, 2005, Sega, I had to put that in, right? Yeah, see, that guy liked it. I had Sega. I mean, that was the, that was the first thing I had to do was to get Sega in there somehow. But when we debuted our show, that was the very first time that the Sonic music had ever been played live. Can you believe that? You would have thought in Japan that somebody would have done this in a big kind of symphonic type of thing, but that was the first time. So it was crazy. That first show actually that we had in the Hollywood Bowl in 2005, Yuji Naka, the creator of Sonic, actually flew out over. We had a lot of great folks from Japan fly over. Actually, Hideo Kojima from Metal Gear Solid. It was one of the first times Metal Gear Solid had ever been played live. The first time Kingdom Hearts had ever been played live. Halo, Warcraft. So it was a pretty monumental show. Now, the guy who worked on this arrangement with me and actually did the orchestration is another video game composer, good friend of ours, Richard Jakes. So Richard did a fantastic job with arranging the drums and the orchestra to sound to get that great sound. We one of the things I do in the show all the time is I always update the videos, and it's something that like I can literally do on my laptop at this point. So like a new trailer will come out like the day of our show, and I'll take like clips from it and it'll be in the show that night. So for this was the first time this particular video had been played, because I had to slide everything. I wanted to do a whole chronological history of Sonic, and this is like all chronologically in order, which is we don't have a lot of that in Video Games Live. Of course, there's the classic arcade medley. But this is probably the only other thing where we do it in chronological order. Other games like Mario and Zelda, I'll just pull stuff from all over the games, kind of mix and match it depending on the music. But for this, you'll notice, these are these cool little ring things that I did for the side screens. Because we have 3 screens in Video Games Live. The center screen will normally always shows gameplay. See the little rings? We even have the lights. We'll do little spinning rings as well. So, really get build the whole vibe. We really try to, my goal is to really bring the show like all over the place, like in the audience and around the theater. I didn't want it to just be something you watched from your seats, but it wanted something to experience, and you're kind of looking all around. Where do I look? Do I look on the walls? Do I look at the screens? Or what's going on? So, as you can see the rings there on on the walls there that the lights are doing too. So side screens are running effects, and the center screen's running gameplay, and Sonic Rivals. I love, probably one of the most fun things for me in Video Games Live is creating these videos. After the arrangement's done. And lighting, see how the lighting all matches blue and red, you know, the blue Sonic with his red sneakers. Something I always wear as well. Me and Sonic have something in common, red sneakers. Always wear that. But yeah, I really try to capture with the lighting too. You know, you want to capture the get that vibe. So you got the blue and the red and the yellow rings on the sides there, the walls. Gold Rangers. Sonic and the Black Knight. This is a game that I did some of the music for. I mean, Richard Jakes actually, and it was a real honor for me because Sega of Japan called me up and said, "Hey, would you like to write some music for Sonic and the Black Knight?" And you know, what an honor for, you know, it doesn't happen a lot where a Japanese company, especially on something as a huge franchise like Sonic. It's here's Sonic 4. Which, when this first came out, no one had ever seen this footage before. So that was kind of a world premiere of the footage from Sonic 4. And we have the trailer as well on the bonus materials. And there's Sonic. Yay! Everybody clap. Yay! Okay. Let me see, what's next?
Is,
oh,
one of
Advent
my favorite
Rising.
projects that I've worked on, because my whole life, all I ever wanted to do was write an Italian opera.
So here's my spiel about writing an Italian opera. So
license
yeah, Advent Rising is probably one of my one of the games, one of the music that I've done that I'm probably most proud of as a composer. Unfortunately, the game didn't sell very well, but a lot of people who played Advent Rising actually really liked the game. It had some control issues. It probably needed about 3 or 4 months of tweaking to make it a perfect game. Now, the singer here is Laurie Robinson, and she was the original singer that I used, and she actually helped co-write and orchestrate and arrange 2 of the songs on Advent Rising, this being one of them. Now, and her husband is Emanuele Fratiani, who is my great Italian friend, and she's married to Emanuele, and they work as a team a lot of times. And Emanuele is actually the conductor now of Video Games Live as well. So they've always worked together, and they've done a lot of orchestrations and arrangements for Video Games Live over the years. In fact, they helped put together the Halo orchestration, which you heard earlier. And so this piece, Advent Rising, this was taken from 3 different pieces that I wrote for the game. This is the first section. I wanted to kind of create it in 3 sections here. So this is the full one. This didn't make it on the PBS special, but again, it wasn't a hugely popular game. But a lot of people like this game who play it, and music won a couple of awards when it came out back in 2005. I believe. Yeah, it's 2005, same year we started Video Games Live. And the lyrics, actually, to Advent Rising is, they're from, it's like 13th century Italian. And what we did is we took passages from Dante's Inferno and kind of translated it, because it had a lot to do with the storyline, because it's like the story to Advent Rising, if you haven't played the game, it's about this that's him there, Gideon, who and the screenplay of the game, the storyline of the game, was written by Orson Scott Card, and Donald Mustard, who was the game designer and kind of creator of the game. Orson Scott Card, of course, did great things like the Ender's Game. This section here was written with Michael Plowman, is his name. He's a composer, Canadian composer, who very talented guy. Does a lot of television stuff, but he worked on a bunch of tracks with me. For Advent Rising. As a composer, I love working with other composers. You know, they bring in their own styles and ideas. That clip there, that little clip you saw of that ship going through the rock there, that was actually never in the game. They took those levels out of the game. There's a couple of those in this video that were never actually made it into the game, but I had, so I threw in there. It's kind of a little bonus. I do that on Beyond Good and Evil as well. There's a couple of... Beyond Good and Evil isn't in this show. If we ever do a Video Games Live 2 film it, I'll definitely add Beyond Good and Evil. It's one of my favorite games. There's Laurie kicking butt there. And then this is the third section. There's the Aurelians. There's Gideon there. And this was kind of a different section. This is kind of cool because you can actually hear the dialogue of the characters.
This is the hope of Aurelia, human.
So we actually just chose this one section of the game and kind of, we're scoring it live. And you're hearing the vocals and everything.
I never understood.
It is a heavy weight you carry, human.
This was really fun. This was probably my favorite segment in the whole game. To score. This was when Gideon finds out that he's kind of like a god to these people. It was the Planet of the Apes Statue of Liberty moment right here.
Being God.
It's not easy being God. Duh. Now, when we first debuted this in Video Games Live, I actually had a guy dressed up like Gideon, and he flew across the stage. He actually, at that exact moment, he was rose up, and floated across. And what was cool is, right there, this scene right here was playing on screen, and a live actor was floating right next to it. It was unbelievable. If you look on YouTube, or actually I think it's on our website, videogameslive.com, there's, I think, a complete Advent Rising section. I don't know if it might have been taken down at some point, but we actually recreated this whole scene on stage, and we had this big thing that was hooked up, and he actually grabbed the triangle and the pyramid, and the whole thing lit up and everything. It was completely over the top and ridiculous. And again, originally I wanted to fly all sorts of people around the stage and have all these great special effects, and then which we did in our first show, but and then when you take a show on tour, of course, there's all these budget limitations, and it's like, unfortunately, you can't do a lot of that stuff. But maybe, hopefully, someday, I hope to bring a lot of that crazy stuff back, and we try to when we do.
On the stage during the show. We really wanted to create.
This was a cool little segment here, showing the people before the show, and a whole pre-show festival. Every pre-show festival we do is a little different because we never know the amount of space we have. And those were Dell Alienware computers there. They were a sponsor of us, and so we'll put Alienware. Man, Alienware machines are so freaking cool, aren't they? I mean, you look at those things; they look like little mini spaceships or something. I love Alienware. It's cool when you have a sponsor where you actually love their product and it looks cool. You're like proud to like show it off and stuff. So. We actually have like Alienware computers and laptops running our actual show, so they're really powerful. This was so cool. So this kid's 12 years old. He's 12 years old, and he won the Guitar Hero competition beforehand. And
what you have to do is score.
it was funny because when we did this live, we actually had to stop and start this 2 times because we had 2 miscues. What happened? See how he's on the ground right now? He's standing on the floor right there. And what happened is, now you'll notice now when you see him now in the one we actually filmed. See, he's standing. I don't know if you can see it there, but you'll be able to see it in some scenes. He's actually standing on a piano bench. Because see him? He's on the piano bench right there. It looks like he's floating in midair. Because he was so small that he couldn't see the bottom of the screen. So when we started, he died right away. And it was like game over. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? And he's like, I can't see the bottom of the screen. So we had to like get a piano bench and put him up there. That thing, that tube that I'm talking into, that's called a talk box guitar, which was used a lot in the 70s. The Eagles, Joe, the guitarist for the Eagles. Life in the Fast Lane. Gosh, I can't remember, but he would use one a lot, and of course Peter Frampton was the one who probably made it the most famous. But now people ask, why did we use Guitar Hero Aerosmith? The answer to that question is that Steven Tyler, his real name is Steven Tallarico. Steven's my cousin, and a lot of people actually do know that. And Joe Walsh, that's the guy's name. Joe Walsh was the guy who I think it was either Joe Walsh or Peter Frampton who invented the talk box. I think it might have been Frampton, but. Anyway, so I remember showing Steven and Joe Perry, the guitarist from Aerosmith. I remember showing them Guitar Hero for the first time because they weren't in Guitar Hero 1. There was no Aerosmith because I guess the record company was giving Harmonix a hard time, and the Red Octane folks. And I was friends with those guys at Harmonix and Red Octane, and I loved Guitar Hero. And so I said, guys, send me a bunch. I'll send a bunch. I'll send them to Steve Vai and guys like, and let me put one in Joe Perry and Steven Tyler's hands. And so when Steven and Joe saw it, they're like, well, where's Aerosmith? How come we're not in the game? I said, exactly. We got to get you guys in. So I ended up hooking up Aerosmith with the Harmonix folks. And so in Guitar Hero 2, they put in Last Child, the song in there, and I got a little credit in the special thanks section for that. But then I remember being backstage at an Aerosmith show at one point, and it was after Guitar Hero 2 had come out, and I remember Joe Perry asking me, hey, do you think they'd do a whole Aerosmith game based on Guitar Hero? I'm like, well, geez, I don't know, let's ask them. So again, I went at that point, Activision had taken over, and they had bought Guitar Hero, and so I went to my folks at Activision and hooked them up directly with Aerosmith's management company, and the first band Guitar Hero came out, which was Guitar Hero Aerosmith. It was so cool, man, and we were really hoping with those synchronized lasers there. I love that. Boom. I was really hoping he would make this because, boy, wouldn't it have sucked if he didn't win? So, and he got it right at the end. The crowd went nuts. You can't really hear it as loud as it was on stage on the disc, but it was screaming loud. There's Ethan's dad. How cool is that? Look at that. It's a great moment in the show. People going nuts. Doing a little back-to-back there. Ethan was like completely focused. He wasn't messing around. You know, sometimes you get guitar players up there, Guitar Hero players, and they're jumping around and dancing like crazy, which is always fun. But the pressure was on, and Ethan took care of business right there. He was very focused. Very cool moment.
Everyone who's seen Avatar.
There she is, Jamie Lee Curtis. So I was at Blizzard. I live in Orange County, California, which is where Blizzard is located as well. Some buddies with a lot of the folks there, and I was sitting down with the vice president of marketing, the head of marketing at Blizzard, and we were talking about the PBS special, and I said, geez, do you have any celebrities that love Warcraft who might be able to talk about, somebody who you might not expect, but people who watch PBS, somebody that they could relate to, because a lot of the PBS viewers are 50 plus females. That's a lot of the demographic, and Neil, who's the VP over there at Blizzard of marketing, said, well, geez, Jamie Lee Curtis, her son is a huge Warcraft fan, and her sister plays all the time, and I'm like, wow, that's perfect, because you wouldn't expect somebody like a Jamie Lee Curtis to know so much about Blizzard and about video games and about Warcraft, and talking about how culturally significant and artistic video games are, and somebody who the typical person who watches PBS could relate to. And if that person sits down and says, wow, if Jamie Lee Curtis likes Warcraft, then maybe I'll like Warcraft, so Jamie Lee was unbelievable, such a nice person. And I was actually the guy interviewing her during that interview. And in the entire interview, or most of the interview, you can see in the bonus materials. And she talks a lot about Blizzard and her thoughts on video games and the positive effects that they have. So many times in the industry, you hear all the negative things, and it causes violence and this and that. Well, she has some great positive stuff, which is great. So this is, I would say, this overall, people always ask me what's my favorite segment in the entire show that we do. And as a whole, this is it. I mean, the way that the lights and the graphics and the music all work together. This music was taken from Warcraft 3 and World of Warcraft. It was written all by Jason Hayes, another good friend who lives in Orange County as well. And Jason actually does a whole breakdown of each of this section in the bonus material. So make sure you check that out. It's really interesting to hear Jason talk about every section and why it came to be and all this. But wow, this is so cool. Boom. The lightning effects and so powerful. And keep in mind that this music came out before the Lord of the Rings movie. I just want to state that. So, who knows? Maybe they were all playing Warcraft to get inspired by that music. You never know. Look at the colors there. I mean, that's just wow. A lot of people who don't play video games think that the graphics for Toy Story 3 or something are pretty cool, and they are amazing. But look at this. And these graphics, by the way, are 10 years old. These cinematics are 10 years old. So, video games really are at the forefront of computer animation and stuff. Look at that. I love that scene. And I had all the lights turned purple and stuff. You also saw some snow falling down. It's gone now, but it'll come back later at the end of the segment. You should have had it right there. And so those were actually snow machines that I had rigged up to the trussing, the lighting trussing on top, and it spews out. They're actually it's actually little foam. It's like little bubbles, but foam, but it looks like snow, but it's actually soap suds. And we have those at about 50% of our shows. We bring them every time to the show, but some of the symphonies or some of the venues don't allow us to do it, because if they don't want the suds to land on the instruments, of course. So it really depends on the venue. Every venue we go to, it's a whole different setup and a whole different, set of challenges and stuff, especially for our show where there's, video screens and sightline issues and so many different lights and places to put things. So it's always a challenge. I love this part of the song right here. Here's the flakes again. See, now that I've told you that they're like little foam things, it's not as cool now, is it? You think? The magic of Video Games Live. The Blizzard logo. They go crazy for that segment in places like China and Taiwan. Here we go. Here's Chrono Cross. This is Time Scar. Scars of Time. However, a couple different ways to... a couple different names for it here. It's me and Jack on acoustic. And on flute here is Laura Intravia, who she's you might know her as Flute Link. If you don't, definitely go on YouTube and check out Flute Link, and because she dresses up as Link and does a whole Zelda arrangement. She's an amazing singer, an amazing composer and arranger, and of course flutist, or flute player, fluter, fluter. That's a good one. We'll use that. Actually, all of those terms are right, but I don't know. I just like fluter. I think we're going to go with that from now on. From this day forth, anyone who plays the flute should call themselves a fluter. I think that's pretty. There's a sexy shot there. Shh, don't tell Laura I said that. Actually, you want to know something really funny? I'm going to say this publicly for the first time. Whenever this section of the song, after there, actually in our normal version of this, we usually start with Chrono Trigger, but we couldn't get the rights for Chrono Trigger through Square for this disc, unfortunately. But we did get it for Chrono Cross, because the music's actually owned by Mitsuda-san, who is the composer, Yasunori Mitsuda, who you can see in the bonus materials to my trip to Japan, the composer party that they had for me. They all threw me a party when I went to Japan, and a bunch of the composers were there. But anyway, I'll whisper something that only Laura can hear, and I try to get her to make her laugh every single time at the beginning. And it started off innocent, but then I start to say a bunch of perverted stuff to her now, and she's used to it now, though. She just like rolls her eyes at me. But if you ever go to a Video Games Live show, and at the beginning of Chrono Trigger, you'll see me say something to Laura, and she'll start laughing, because I try to do something funny every time. An amazing piece of music right there. Mitsuda-san is just unbelievable. Great composer. Here's Jack Wall's music from Mass Effect. Very kind of different vibe for the show. A lot of folks like this. We always try to be dynamic when we create the set list for the show. We don't want big bombastic scores for 2.5 hours. It's important to mix it up and have some soloists, and you just saw some acoustic guitars there from Chrono, and now this is kind of like a Blade Runner type of vibe, Vangelis. This one's really cool, and of course the composer is Jack Wall, who is conducting. And this was done by BioWare, a developer up in Canada, who is unbelievable, one of the best developers in the world. And look at the graphics. Now, these are actually this is the music from the first Mass Effect, but the visuals that I added here are from Mass Effect 2. So you get Mass Effect 1 and 2 visuals together. That's some stuff from 2 right there. They just keep getting better and better. The graphics and BioWare's just unbelievable storytellers, and big moment there. Here's the synth stuff. It's my favorite part of the song here. The build-up. Look at the colors too. I mean the purples, and we again, if you look at the lighting, we really try to match. You know, you'll see the blues and the purples there, and we really do spend a lot of time. I mean, it is really, you know, thought out when we sit down to do the lighting, and you know, what are the colors of the game, and how can the colors and the movement of the lights enhance it? Like this piece here, Mass Effect. You know, it's not a, you know, you'll see the lights, you know, they're kind of doing a little slow movement because it's a slower type of song. You know, we want to enhance it. We don't want to, you know, we never want the lights to get in the way of the music, but to, you know, really enhance the environment. We want to create these environments around the audience, you know, kind of bring the game to life, if you will. And so, yeah, we always try to go for that. Mass Effect.
Some of the greatest comments that we get from our show are from the grandparents who brought the grandkids to the symphony for the first time, or the mom who brought the neighborhood kids, or the girlfriend who was taking her boyfriend out for a night on the symphony. And those are the people who are most taken back by what they're hearing and what they're seeing, because they don't expect it, you know?
That's very true. So here's Mega Man. People had requested Mega Man in the show for so long, and I always wanted to do a rock version, because when you listen to Mega Man, I mean, it has kind of a guitar version. So me and Dweezil Zappa actually got together, and Joe, who's on drums, we got together and we put together this arrangement. There's the opening of Mega Man 2 right there. And then the guitar comes in here. I noticed after viewing this show that when I play guitar, I never knew I did this until I actually watched myself for the first time. But look I'm always mouthing what I'm playing. I never knew that. I'm always going dun 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 dun. It's really embarrassing. I noticed it the most in Castlevania when look at I'm doing that. Yeah. What a dork. I never knew I did that. Now I'm all self-conscious of it now, but I don't know, whatever. I don't have to think about it too much. Look at this. What is that? I just look ridiculous. I'm sorry. I'm calling myself out right now. Look at that. They're on fire or something. I don't know what's going on. Little blues action here. Big fan of the blues. Gary Moore, you know, that's a Gary Moore inspired thing right there. He's a great guitar player. So this bass player, the bass player there is a little stick spin by Joe there. You see that? A little 80s rock and roll action right there. But so the bass player actually went to college with Jack, believe it or not. And he's in the Louisiana Philharmonic, and you'll see him throughout the show. He's playing bass, the string instrument, the big symphony string bass. This is an electric bass that he's playing now, bass guitar, and so Jack had asked him, say, hey, do you want to play electric bass in the show as well on a couple of our rock tunes like Castlevania and Mega Man? So that was kind of cool. I'm going to annoy you and do hum what I do on stage. I'm just kidding. So this is Wily Stage 1 and 2, Dr. Wily Stage 1 and 2 from Mega Man 2. Probably one of the more popular, if not the most popular, Mega Man tune, I believe. This Mega Man, I arranged it with 3 songs. The first part you heard was from, man, I love that part. The first part was the intro to Mega Man 2, and then I go into the Mega Man 3, the intro to menu from Mega Man 3, and then this is Wily Stage 1 and 2. It's one of my favorite guitars there. It's a Schecter. It's called the Hellraiser. I love dark red is like one of my favorite color, and that's the top on that. It's like this amazing dark red color. It's really cool. Mega Man. The very first time Mega Man was ever released outside of Japan on an album or as DVD or Blu-ray.
Who created them? And
How'd I get back into that outfit? So obviously this was we put this together out of sequence. So this is Ralph Baer. This is the whole Ralph Baer segment. And Mr. Baer, of course, please make sure to check out his interview in the bonus materials, where he talks all about his history and all that stuff. And so, Mr. Baer, I've known Mr. Baer, gosh, for maybe 7 or 8 years now, and he's been around a long, long time, and we all owe him a debt of gratitude for creating this industry. So this is the video from 1968, and it's the very first time a video game had ever been filmed. And this is actually the year I was born, 1968. Dating myself now, do the math, that's how old I am. That's Mr. Baer there on the left. And Mr. Baer has his initial plans, his 4-page handwritten notes about what the video game could be. They're actually in the Smithsonian Institute, along with a lot of other of his notes. And he also won, if you go to ralphbaer.com, and his last name's spelled B-A-E-R, not bear like the grizzly bear or panda bear, but B-A-E-R. So if you go to ralphbaer.com, there's a ton of great info up there. But he actually received the Presidential Medal of Technology from President Bush for creating the video game. He holds patents on a lot of different things. I mean, here's the guy who invented the joystick. He invented the light gun. He invented the steering wheel as an interactive device for the television, and of course Now, I think there's 8 versions of the brown box that exist in the world. There's 8 of them. You'll see the brown box there on the table there. There's 8 of them in the world. 6 of them are in museums, including one in the Smithsonian Institute. There's one in a German museum where Mr. Baer was born in Germany. I think there's one in Japan or something. But there's 6 of them, and then there's 2 other ones, brown boxes. One of them Mr. Baer owns and takes with him. And then there's one other one that I believe it's the only one that is owned by a private individual, and that's me. I have the 8th brown box that Mr. Baer gave me about a year ago, and it's probably, out of all the things that I own from the video game industry, that's definitely my most prized possession. And this is where I introduce Mr. Bear on stage. He's actually, we normally, when we do a show, we try to call him in live for Skype. But here he is. Look at this. There he is. Look at the crowd going nuts. 3,000, 4,000 people all standing up. Now, we had to cut this down because they actually cheered for about, look at that. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Exactly. We cut this down because no one would want to hear 5 minutes of straight standing ovation. But that's what it was. It was so loud. But anyone who was there would tell you, it just went on and on and on.
What gave you the inspiration to
We did a little interview with Mr. Bear here.
What was it all about?
I'm a TV engineer by degree. And in
And
1951, I built a TV set.
there he is. Look at
Then I
that
had
sexy
the idea
guy
of doing
back in the
something
50s.
other than just watching a normal black and white TV set. Well, nothing came of it until much later. By this time,
Yeah,
I'm
he
running a
tells
big
the
division,
whole story in
directly
his
for payroll, maybe
in the
10
bonus
million
materials.
bucks.
It's really
I
good.
can afford to put a couple of guys in a room and tell them to build something.
But
So
he
tell them
actually
to build
he's
something.
actually appeared
Move
on
spots
stage
around
with
the
us.
screen. Within a
First
couple
time he
weeks,
appeared
the
live on
screen
stage
gets
with us
trained
was at our
guys,
Boston show.
moving spots around with,
Mr. Bear lives
joysticks
in
and,
New
one of the
England,
guys that came up with a
and
thought of
and so
third
we had him
component, which
come
turned out to
down
be the ball in the ball game, and next
for
thing we
that
were
show,
playing ping pong,
and then I
handball,
had to do
volleyball.
it. Had to do it
Then the question
for
was, now
this
that we have it,
for this special.
what the hell
So.
do we do with it?
And I gotta say, the game, the brown box game, is really freaking hard. And you can pretty much control everything. You can control the speed of the ball, but you can control the English on it. And not only did the paddles go up and down, but they went in and out as well. So it's like an impossible game to play.
That we all love so dear and so much. So thank you, Mr. Bear.
Such a nice guy too. I mean, I gotta say that probably one of the nicest people I've ever met in the video game industry. Over 20 years of being in the industry,
We got another surprise,
he's
though. We got another
such a
surprise,
kind heart
Back
and
there in the 60s,
great guy.
The first original unit, it was called the Brown Box. Am I right? Well, tonight,
And
ladies and
we had a
gentlemen,
brown
piece
box
of
there on
history right here
stage.
on our stage.
That was
original
Mr.
brown
Bear's
box right there.
brown box. You can
And
see it's a
what we're
little
gonna
beat up.
do,
Mine's
actually,
in
we're
nicer
going
condition.
to pick somebody out of the audience right now to come up and play the brown
So
box
I had to.
against Mr.
I wanted
Bear.
to
So
pick a
who-
little kid to come out of the
Who in
audience.
the audience wants to come up? Who'd like to come up
I like to
and,
pick a.
and play with?
Looking for a
Mr.
little
Bear?
kid. I
Let's
mean,
see. How about this guy right here? Hold on, this kid. Come on.
there
right
he
up
is.
there.
Look at him.
There you go.
Imagine that. That
All
kid
right, how you
can
doing?
say that
Good.
he
What's your
played
name?
the brown box with
Oh,
Ralph Bear.
You're almost as tall as us. Wow. Here we go. We're gonna play to 3. Are you ready? Okay, there we go. That looks.
Now look at it. Look at that's whoops. It's a tough game. I mean, because look how small the paddle. The paddles are like squares. What's up with that? Give me a freaking paddle for crying out loud, Mr. Bear. What are you doing to us? But and that's when Pong came out in '72. The of course they simplified it a lot. So it's they had the paddles and then
Okay, here we go. Is it 2? Okay.
they made it easier. This game was tough. And the brown box actually has, you'll see a lot of those black switches on it because it has, like 15 or 20 different games. Look at the control. Look at that. All these knobs. It's crazy. But, there's a tons of, they have hockey and ping pong and, squash and all the different things in that system. Signed Video Games Live poster from Ralph Bear. There you go. I hope he treasures that.
Can we give him a round of applause right now? One more time.
And then when I had him go off stage for his round of applause, of course, again it was another like 5 minutes. And everybody loves Mr. Bear.
One of the cool things for me personally is that my wife Cindy and my 13-year-old daughter.
Oh, so this is the music to Mist.
And it's always a tremendous.
And this music was, there's 4 pieces of music that Jack put together to create this segment. And this first thing here, this is the opening to the original Mist, a great harp thing here. Boom, 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 boom. And this music was actually written by Robin Miller, who was the brother of the creator, Rand Miller, of the creator of Mist. And he got his brother to do the music. And I think Robin worked on the game as well, in other aspects, and not just the music. I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah, so that bit there was written, and then this next section right here, starting here, was written by Tim Larkin, and this was for Mist. I think it was for Uru. I think it was called. Great. Look at those pencil drawings. They're great. Such a lush world. So this section here was from that, and then Mist 3 was written by Jack, which is the next segment. And so this is Jack's wife, Cindy. Amazing singer. She also sings on God of War on the disc as well. And then coming out here, you'll see Gracie Wall, who's Jack's awesome daughter. Coming out soon. So now we're into, this is Mist 3. Now we're into Mist 3. This is the music that Jack wrote, which is awesome. Used a lot of earth tones and stuff for the colors of the lights. You see that kind of earthy, goldy, yellowish thing with the blue. This Mist segment is probably one of the hardest technically for the orchestras to play. It's really tough. This part right here especially. And of course there's mist everywhere. Didn't that work out great? See, we didn't mind the mist rising up. Look at that. It's all everywhere. Great shot there. Yeah, this is a tough tune for the orchestra to play. I thought Gracie came out before this. I was totally wrong. It's coming up at the end of this section. Boom. Look at that. That's a great shot there. Mist all over the place. There's Gracie. Gracie's in a rock band right now, too. It's like a teenage rock band. Check it out on her Facebook page. Great voice. She's taller than me. She's 12. Of course, she was taller than me when she was 4, too, but that's, it's another story. Powerful stuff right there. So this is from Mist 4, this whole section. Music was also debuted for the very first time during our first show, were the most successful, biggest selling PC games of all time. I think The Sims came around and knocked it off, but for a long time, Myst was the #1 selling PC game. I don't know if they include Warcraft in that now, as well as so many. I don't know where that Warcraft is bigger than The Sims. Imagine it. Oh, it certainly made a lot more money because of the monthly subscription stuff. But yeah, Myst was up there for a long time. Powerful choir. Look at that. Drums going crazy. Joe going nuts. Now Jack just throws the kitchen sink. Everything. That's probably the loudest, the loudest stuff in the whole show is right there. So if you're turning down your stereo, don't do it too much because that was the loudest part of the show right there. The Wall family.
This is our 150th show, and we're here with a lot of great people putting on a great show.
Yeah, Jack just mentioned it was our
we're
150th
excited
show.
to see this thing.
Crazy. Here we go. For all you Nintendo fanboys and fangirls out here, here it is. The Legend of Zelda. This is the one that a lot of audience members go crazy for when that logo comes up. You can hear them cheering now. A lot of fun doing this video. Actually, this particular video was done is done by both myself and Victor Lucas. Vic is a guy I was on a TV show for a long time called The Electric Playground. In fact, it's still on. You can go to lecplay.com to check it out. And it was a show that me and Vic started. Well, Vic was the creator of the show, and he asked me to be the host of it, and we kind of made the show together. It first aired in 1995, and it was the very first video game television show, like magazine, like a show that kind of went behind the scenes and talked to developers, and news magazine, I guess you would call it. But and so Vic, who's a huge Nintendo fan as well. That kid looked upset. That little kid. And so the initial videos when we did our first show at the Hollywood Bowl, I had the company who worked on the TV show, Electric Playground, and we also did a reviews show called Reviews on the Run, is what it's called, but it's called Judgment Day in the United States and Reviews on the Run everywhere else. But so Vic actually put a lot of the Zelda and Mario segments together with me, and then over the years I've added to them and updated them as well. Great music. So this was written by Koji Kondo, and Kondo-san I've known about 5 or 6 years. Whenever I'm over in Japan, we get together, and now I'm name dropping, by the way. Just I've officially crossed over. I'm completely name dropping. Yeah, me and Kondo-san, we hang out, Koji is he's such a soft-spoken, quiet guy, all this amazing music. And I've always said that, think about this. In 100 years from now, people are still going to be humming the Mario theme, and probably the Zelda theme as well. I mean, that's how important this music is. That's right up there with Beethoven and Mozart, and and so contribution of Koji Kondo to the music world is stunning. You know, it's a great theme. This arrangement was originally done in it was called Orchestral Game Concert, which was done in Japan, and they did 5 of them. And this was from the first one. They did both our Mario arrangement and our Zelda arrangement. Basically took a lot of parts from those original arrangements that they did in Japan, and we enhanced them and made them a little bigger. But that's where these arrangements came from, right from Japan. And that is Zelda. And again, with Zelda and Mario, it was the very first time. And there's Mario, the other short Italian in the video game industry. It's me and Mario. But the Mario and Zelda here. So this disc that you're watching, or if you have the album, it was the very first time that that Nintendo released music outside of Japan. So we were really fortunate to have a lot of these developers and game publishers, backing Video Games Live for this special and for this show. Sonic was another one where they had never released the Sonic music outside of Japan. I mean, before this, you couldn't go on iTunes and buy Mario music or Zelda or Sonic or Mega Man. So that's something we're pretty proud of. So this is Mario. This is it. This is I'd have to go on record as saying the most famous video game tune ever of all time. I think that's fair to say. Xylophone action there. Muted trumpets. That little thing on the trumpet. See, there's a little like bulb thing on the trumpet. You kind of fix that trumpet, you can get a bunch of different sounds. And sometimes you'll see people like holding that and cupping it to get a wah, 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 wah. Make sounds like the trumpet. It'll make it like talk. It's a muted trumpet, though. Is when they put that thing. It's kind of like a silencer on a gun, a little bit. But so we got the we got the choir to wave their arms. Because, see, this is the underwater music, and it kind of looks like, maybe some waves or something. I don't know. Yeah, me and Vic really loved doing the video for this one. So much great, fun, happy content. And the audience got in it as well. We actually do this thing... I do this thing at the end of the show with the encore where I have all of the people in the audience hold up their DSs and PSPs and iPhones and cell phones and things. And people like bring laptops now and their iPads or whatever. And we have them all wave in the air and we all sing this song. We all sing Mario together. It's kind of a cool moment in the show. I didn't make this the DVD or the Blu-ray. I didn't make this disc. That whole part that we do. I don't know. It just didn't translate well to the disc. But it's something that we have fun with during our live shows. There's Joe there. See, if you look at the instruments he has in his hands right now, they're not normal sticks. They're brushes. That's how they get that. You hear that on the snare. It's a brushed snare, and so they're literally it's brushes that the drummer holds in his hands, and it's used a lot in jazz music, and so that's a little tidbit there of musical knowledge that you can pull out. Everybody loves Mario. Have you ever actually heard anyone say, "Oh yeah, that Mario tune sucks"? I mean, that's things you never hear in this world. Everybody loves Mario. Okay, so this is Gerard. I call him Gerard of War. Gerard is the composer. Gerard Marino, the composer, another Italian composer. See that? And Gerard is the composer of God of War, and he worked on 2 and 3 as well. And he is Gerard of War. And he's got a great, we do a great interview with Gerard on the bonus materials. And the great thing about Gerard is that I asked him in this interview, because I was actually the guy doing all these interviews. That's who he's talking to me off camera here. But I said what were his big influences, and he said that he was in 80s hair bands, and a lot of Scorpions and Metallica and Rat were his big influences growing up, and you can hear those. You can hear like Metallica and stuff, even in God of War. But what's funny is we actually show pictures of Gerard in the hair band. He's pretty bald now, as you can see. Sorry, Gerard. But you got to check out the bonus materials for for Gerard's hair photos from the 80s. They're absolutely phenomenal. My favorite is the one where he's wearing an open leopard shirt, and his chest hair is showing, and it's a big V all the way down to his belly button. And he's definitely got this Duran Duran thing going on, or Poison, with his hair, and it's freaking hilarious. And I called Gerard up when we were doing the extras, and I said, "Hey Gerard, I want to get your permission because I don't want to surprise you, but I was thinking of using those pictures." And of course, Gerard's a great sport. He's like, "Oh yeah, heck yeah, that'd be hilarious." And he actually has the pictures up on his Facebook page, so he can't be that ashamed of them. I certainly have a lot of pictures I'm ashamed of, but he's. And this is Jack's wife Cindy again, doing the God of War stuff. And one of the musical directors from God of War, I got to mention his name because he's such a talented guy, is Clint Bajakian. Clint was one of the original LucasArts composer. Worked on all those great LucasArts games, Monkey Island, and all that stuff. And this is one of my favorite effects in the show, actually, right here. I wish we could have done more of this, but coming up here, you'll see where it looks like, look at it, see the fire effect? We kind of put that, it's one of the side screen effects that I do, but look at, oh my God, Joe, you're on fire! And that was it. And we just did those little 2 scenes, but it was kind of, just felt right at the time, but, and this song with all the fire and brimstone and revenge and vengeance, kind of worked cool, but... yeah, so Clint Bajakian, who worked at LucasArts for... Look at that. That's a great shot. I love the fire behind his head. That guy reminds me, by the way, you keep seeing that bald guy. He totally reminds me of Cal Ripken. Doesn't he look like Cal Ripken? Anyway, Clint was one of the music directors on this, and he's such a talented musician. And me and Clint have written music together before. We worked on a game called Bard's Tale, and I had all the LucasArts guys, Michael Land and Peter McConnell as well. We all worked, the 4 of us worked on Bard's Tale games. Cool music. Okay, so here comes Martin. Look at that sexy guy. Come on out, Martin. Martin had a little faux hawk going. Look at that. Little faux hawk action there for Martin.
When Martin made his video,
and so Martin's the video game pianist, and he put a video on the internet of him playing Mario blindfolded, and he put it on E-Bombs World. This was before YouTube, and it got 40 million hits, views, downloads, whatever, on E-Bombs World. And then YouTube came out a couple months later. And so he's on, and actually his video is like the #1 music video on YouTube in Japan. It's unbelievable. And talk about a talent. I mean, this is he's unbelievable. I've been playing the piano for over 40 years, and I've never seen anyone's hands move as fast as his, but with such emotion and energy as well.
Do you have any final last words?
Final last words.
What's up, New Orleans?
Give it to him.
Martin's great. Look at him go. So I had seen I saw the video. I think I saw the E-Bombs World video. It was early on, and somebody had sent it to me. I forget who, but and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And this was back when we were, we started Video Games Live in 2002, and our first show was in 2005 at the Hollywood Bowl. And so it took us 3 years to create the first show and get all the rights and licenses and all that stuff. So during that time is when this video came out, kind of between 2002 and 2005. So I did some research, and I'm like looking all over the internet for Martin, and I found his website, and I contacted him, and I found out that he actually lived like almost right down the street from me. He lived like 5-10 minutes from where I lived in Orange County. He lived in Irvine, California. And so I invited him over, him and his parents and his sister, who's another talented Leanne Learn, another talented pianist. She comes on tour with us as well sometimes. And they all came over, and we all hung out for the day, and I invited Martin to come on tour with us and put some arrangements together. So me and Martin worked on a Final Fantasy arrangement together that's very popular in the show. It didn't make it on the DVD or Blu-ray, but it did make it on the album. Again, a rights issue there, but there he goes. Super Mario World. People ask me all the time, what's your favorite video game ever of all time? And for that, I say Super Mario World. Right here. This is it here. It's funny, the audience, you can hear the audience clapping, and they mean well, but it completely, Martin has to do everything in his mind to like tune them out, because they're usually, the audience is always off, and so it throws them off beat. We always talk about that afterwards. I'm like, did they screw you up tonight, Martin? He's, no, and so he uses them as a metronome now. Now he's kind of going right to them. But when he goes faster, the audience can't even keep up. This is an amazing shot, by the way. If you notice the camera on this, here he goes, double time now. Look at that. I mean, unless you play the piano, like to really understand how hard that is to play the piano. I mean, look at his left hand. I mean, he's hitting like all sorts of notes there. But that camera angle that you saw was one continuous shot. It was really cool the way the camera zoomed all the way around Martin. And that was something that the directors and producers of the show were really proud of. And I agree. It's a great, it was a great shot all the way through there. Martin never just plays once and goes off stage. Look at it. They're all standing for him, you know. I don't think we've ever played a show where Martin just walked off the stage and that was it, you know. They all love Martin.
How about one more for Martin Learn? One more time.
And we've done a bunch of stuff with Martin actually in the show. Most of the time we'll do the Final Fantasy arrangement and the Mario stuff, of course, but and right here he's about to do the Nintendo version of Tetris. Get the audience clapping again. Screwing up his timing. But But Martin's done. He does Cohen's masterpiece from BioShock, which is this amazing classical type piano written by Gary Scheinman, the composer of BioShock, and Gary was blown away because when he recorded it for the game, he used one of the most talented session players in Hollywood, and they had to do it a bunch of times, and they had to, I think, cut and paste a few takes together. And Martin blows through it first time. Look at his hand, look at his left hand, how he's hitting all those faraway notes like that. It's unbelievable. But he does that. He does a great Warcraft 2 thing that me and Martin arranged together on the piano as well. And so he does a lot of different pieces in the show. So every time Martin comes back, we try to get him to do different stuff, like all of our shows. We always try to change the set list stuff. Here's Russell.
Almost by accident, I had been creating music for
now.
This part
True
of
or
the
false?
game,
Does he not look like King? Was it Theoden from Lord of the Rings? Right? Am I right? Put a helmet on that dude's head, and he could be right in the Lord of the Rings movie.
You can do in World of Warcraft. There's this one special one, and the reward at the end, it's not loot, it's not epic armor or anything like that. The reward is this song, and it's really resonated well with our players, and it's been such a pleasure to have it performed at Video Games Live over these last couple of years.
That's Russell there talking about Lament of the Highborn, how it's a special song. Now this singer here, this is Vanjie Gunn, and she was the original singer, and what a voice. I mean, out of all the solo vocalists, female solo vocalists, this song and this voice is just so, very, gosh, I don't know, just mystical. It's such a great choice by Russell to have her sing this song. It's just so amazing. I like this shot in the back. You see the choir member. Oh no, it's the next one. You can see the choir member, that really high voice in the background in the choir, and you see the choir member singing it over Vanjie's shoulder. It's a really cool moment in the show that's coming up. But so this is like a video that Blizzard put together for this song for Video Games Live. So they actually had the Queen there singing, mouthing the lyrics along with the song, which is kind of neat. Little machinima action from Blizzard for Video Games Live. Kind of cool. And Vanjie sings with us sometimes during our show, our normal tour. I wish we could get her at every show. It's unbelievable. Here it is. Here's a shot. Watch this. See her in the background there, upper corner? That's cool. I don't know why I like that so much, but I like that. So yeah, so this whole video actually was done by Blizzard. They did like I said, a kind of a whole machinima thing to go along with. Well, I mean, it's part of the game, right? I mean, once the game is, when you win the quest, this kind of music video plays. I've never done it, but that's what they tell me. And here's another situation where, you hear a song like this and you say, what? This is for a video game? Are you kidding me? Really? So beautiful. Vanjie Gunn.
This is the first time in music history.
So I think this is it. This is the last song. This is Castlevania coming up here. Now, one of the things that didn't make it on the disc, on this disc, which I'm so bummed about, and I'm sure people watching are as well, but we, again, because of the rights issue with Square, we couldn't get Final Fantasy One Winged Angel on the disc. Now, it was in the PBS special. because PBS has special, considerations because they're a non-profit organization. But the song is on the album, Final Fantasy VII. So you want to check that out. It's a really cool version, rock edition. And so here's Castlevania. This is probably one of my most favorite songs to perform. I love that shot. Look at that. All the lights and the lasers and the purpleness. This is another tune that me and Dweezil Zappa, I arranged this piece, and then Dweezil and Joe on drums, there he is there. Three of us got together. Actually, there was another person who was with us as well, who was the bass player. His name's Peter Griffin. I swear I'm not lying. Not the same from Family Guy, but Peter Griffin, an amazing bass player for Dweezil. He plays with Dweezil Zappa. He's got his own band as well. But the four of us kind of got together, myself, Joe, Dweezil, and Pete Griffin. And that's from the new Castlevania. Look at that shot. Oh, I love that shot. We got together and we did this arrangement, kind of a rock version. It's always cool to do a rock arrangement with a band, instead of like look, here's me making stupid faces again. Watch this. Look how stupid I look. That's what I'm doing. If you're wondering what was coming out of my mouth, I'm mouthing the guitar solo like a dork. There's a little nod to Van Halen right here. Ain't talking about love. hey. I might need to pay royalty now to Van Halen. Damn it. So this one, we throw the kitchen sink. We get the lasers going. We got these. It really didn't show up good here on the show, but we have these spinning disco balls, and when you see the show live, it really looks really cool. I love that shot there. So we throw everything. We got bubble machines going off now. We got snow machines. We got lasers. We got spinning disco balls. We got douchebags on guitars making funny faces. There's Martin on piano. We bring him out. This is our big finale right here. There's some bubbles in the background there. And that's the Spider-Man guitar that I'm wearing. That's a custom Gibson Les Paul. There's actually a section in the bonus materials as well where I go through all my guitars and talk about the Spider-Man guitar on that as well. Starting to sweat there. This one will make you sweat. So we use 4 songs. 4 different Castlevania tunes in this arrangement. From Castlevania 1, there's 2 songs from Castlevania 1, and then Castlevania 2, and then this is from Symphony of the Night, Dracula X, as it's known over in Japan. Yeah, it's one of my favorite songs to perform at the show. Always have fun with this one. I really need to work on less mouth things. What is that? What? I'm totally hamming it up for the camera there. I'm going to be honest with you. That was by design. Mouthing all the solos I play, though, is not part of the design. And the big timed jump. Boink! And there you go. So that was Video Games Live, and Jeff Rowland, yay, producer. He's the guy who put it all together for us. Alan Newman, amazing director, lives in the Bahamas, jerk. Tom Case was incredible. Kevin Moy, the guy who made this all look so amazing, the editor. I worked with Kevin a lot on DVD extras. He's so awesome. Special shout out to his cat Pinky, who was diagnosed with cancer, and we're hoping for Pinky to pull through. And yeah, here's all the credits. They go by so quick that you can't really read any of them, but lots of information there. So thank you again, and I hope to see you live on tour sometime. See you later.